So good morning, everybody, and welcome to the next edition of Meeting with Digital Leaders. Today we have a special guest with us, Mohammed Khorakiwala. He is a bachelor's graduate in computer science from the University of Michigan, United States, and a master's from the New South Wales University in Australia. He's an experienced technology consultant who excels in driving innovation through the application of generative AI, right? The hot topic. Currently self-employed, he specializes in crafting cutting-edge solutions by designing and implementing advanced workflows that seamlessly connect chat channels and CRM systems. So his expertise actually extends beyond the conventional boundaries with a keen focus on optimizing business KPIs through the transformative power of generative AI. He has a successful history in technology consulting, and he uniquely stands at the forefront of AI innovation, bringing visionary solutions to the intersection of technology and business. So he's going to be speaking to us today on the topic how ChatGPT can tangibly change the way businesses work. Welcome to the show, Mohammed, and good to have you here.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for taking out the time to doing this interview.
Great. So let's just jump into this directly.
Sure.
So my first question to you would be, we see videos and posts coming out daily, right, about how AI in general and ChatGPT in particular can change the game for individuals and businesses. Maybe we can start, you can share your thoughts on this.
Sure. Yeah, it's a very exciting time to be in this field. And ChatGPT has basically revolutionized and the whole computer science, computer tech field as we know it right now. Because what they have done is, think about it, they've given you one interface where you can actually talk or prompt the algorithms and you can get a response. It's no more coding, no more HTML, no more CSS. And so that's one big thing. They've simplified the user interface. The second major important revolution they've kind of created is interacting with unstructured data. So what I mean by unstructured data is you have data lying in CSV files, Excel files, images, videos, voice notes, emails. And they've just given a simple interface to dump all your data anywhere on your hard disk. Just dump it in one interface and we'll make sense out of it. Now, imagine asking one engineer or a group of 5 engineers to process that data. It would take them at least 10 days to just figure out what to do and take another 6 weeks to build something, productize it. And they've given this access for $20 per month. As simple as that. So I think it's really revolutionized, and what it's allowing us to do is it's allowing marketing managers, it's allowing decision makers, non-programming product managers to actually interact more deeply with data without actually interacting with engineers. So I think that is phenomenal.
I think that's very interesting. I just like to understand this a little bit better. You said that, I mean, with this, will this work for an individual as well? Like, for example, if somebody has got, like I've been working for 20 years and I've got data from, clients I've interacted with, companies I've worked for. So will ChatGPT work for an individual like me also on all the data if I just dump all my data and it'll analyze and give me insights from that as well?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, and that's the first thing I did with ChatGPT to just test it out. So over 20 years, I've worked on multiple projects with multiple companies as a consultant or as an employee, and I've got all this data, right? So I just put all the data just into ChatGPT, like just uploaded it, right? And I asked them just simple question, just index my data. And the first thing it did, okay, between 2003 to 2006, you worked at this location, at this position, and you did this, right? And from 2006 to 2009, you did this, 2010 to 2012. So it summarized the data for me. So like, hey, I don't even remember where I worked in 2012 offhand, right? So it gave me a nice 2-pager on what I did. Okay. Then I said, hey, give me a little bit more detail of the work I did. That 2-pager became 10 pagers, right? And then it says, can you retrieve all the managers I worked in, and if possible, source out their email addresses. I want to get in touch with them, right? So you work top down, and it provides all this data. Now, of course, all this data is available to you across hundreds of Excels and PDFs and emails, right? They're in different locations. But ChatGPT just allows you to dump everything, and it gives you one Word document. And then you can just press Control F on your PC and then search through it. So that's the power of what an individual today has.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Yeah. So tell me, Mohammed, I mean, for business operations in particular, right? I mean, businesses. So what are the business functions that can use this superpower in one sense, right? It's like a superpower. So how can businesses use this to become more productive? Maybe you could share a few good examples, specific examples.
Right. So what are businesses? Businesses are there to provide value, and the way they generate value. I'm being a little bit macro and top down in my talk. Yeah. And over a time, a business generates value by building these certain USPs, in processes, in the product, in their customer base. So let's focus on processes, right? The more efficient they are in-house, they can generate value at a lower cost. That's the idea, right? That means, how do you lower cost? You make your employees more efficient, right? They do more critical work as opposed to more redundant work. So let's focus on reducing the redundant work. And that's where products like ChatGPT, Google Bard, and large language models come in. They reduce redundant work. And what I mean by redundant work is, let's say at the end of the month, your accountant has to go through and just tally up all the accounts receivable, accounts payable, right? It's manual work, right? Yeah. Of course, it's available in your CRM. He still has to physically kind of eyeball it, right? Even if you have an expensive system now. ChatGPT, products like ChatGPT, there are multiple products out there. If you train the model enough, you could get this data on a daily basis, right? Instead of waiting for your accountant to do it at the end of the month. And if a problem arises on the 7th day, on the 14th day, you can correct it much earlier, right? Now, instead of hiring that accountant to do this work at the end of the month and waiting for that decision at the end of the month for a problem which occurred on the 7th, you're addressing the problem on the 7th day without the accountant. So if what you were asking me is, where is the saving, right? At some point, you would not require that accountant. So a tangible benefit is you're not paying his salary. But the more important benefit is that you are getting to a decision point when the problem occurs on the 7th day and correcting it. And for very mature businesses, this is a great proposition, because they feel that, hey, we've been running this business for 20 years, very long time. I've got set employees. But what we don't realize is that the employees have set a certain standard of efficiency. They're not giving you 120%. With ChatGPT, you can provide tools where their efficiency is increased that much more. And that's where I've come across multiple companies where they're looking at, how do we increase efficiency? How do we get better results, real-time results with the same structure? And then let's see that, do we need to replace people, or do we just need to train them to use the tool?
Any other examples from any other business functions that you'd like to share, like, for example, manufacturing or anything like that? Any other such functional examples?
So this was one is where either we eliminated a role or we made that role more efficient. But let's talk about a role where we have to upskill the person, right? So we in Indian manufacturing, we deal with a lot of unskilled labor, right? People who also don't know how to read. Hindi nahi aati. English to dur
Yeah.
ki, Hindi nahi aati. So the way they communicate their job done is they send a WhatsApp message, a voice note, right? Job done, please pick it up, right? Hindi mein, job khatam ho gaya, utha lo. Now think about it. He knows how to use WhatsApp, and he said in Hindi, and job khatam ho gaya, utha lo. Now, many times he doesn't use the same accent, or his words are not legible. But large language models like ChatGPT can decipher this and say that, okay, the job is done. And they can send an API call to your backend saying, go pick it up. So now you don't have to have a person sitting on the other end receiving the voice note and responding to it. So you're eliminating that job, and also you're upskilling this guy without him knowing, and he's interacting with a CRM. Right? Now, of course, there are some challenges to this always, right? Is he being factual? Did ChatGPT actually translate it correctly? So that's the power of ChatGPT, right? You can, with his voice note, an image can be uploaded. So the first verification is the voice note. The second verification is the image. And that gives you a solid 2 verification process.
Nice. So Mohammed, these are good examples which tell us about different functions which could leverage the power of AI, the power of ChatGPT like applications. So, in your opinion, what tangible difference will this make to businesses in their execution and reporting? I mean, you have touched on a few examples, but if you want to give a little bigger view of what's going to happen in businesses if they really leverage the power of ChatGPT.
Right. In India, I think India's growth story is one of the growth stories India has. The drivers of our growth story is cheap labor, right? And the idea is that one revolution which came in 2006 was with the telecommunication dropping prices, right? Cell phones, data became extremely cheap. People started using them. Now, building software for that and allowing unskilled or lower skilled laborers or employees to do higher skilled work, right? Now think about it. If I can eliminate a manager who's managing a kitchen and get my kitchen staff to directly interact with a CRM, right? I'm saving 40,000 rupees a month. Now, the question I'll always have is, how do you know that data is solid, right? It's verified. I can use voice notes, I can use images, I can do that. So I'm eliminating middle management whose just basic job is aapne kaam kiya kya, right? Now, this is unskilled labor, right? Let's talk about very structured businesses, professional services, right? What are the tangible benefits of it? Let's say visa processing, right? You need to get a Schengen visa, you need to get a US visa. The backend has tremendous amounts of workload. You have to verify 30, 40, 50 documents, look at your social media links, go through all of that. There is a company in the US called Induced AI. And what their job is, hey, just make a video recording of what a typical backend worker does. And then we'll replicate that work in AI. So any new future jobs will be coming in. So I think that's on the professional services side. He's doing some skilled work out there. Again, the question comes is, how is his job as good as a human, right? There is, human intelligence used for that. So AI kind of solves that problem, saying that let's just run that process multiple times. And if we get the same result, then it's verified. So businesses are going to start using it. India is going to start using it, and India will probably have the most benefit because we will be able to capture the benefit of ChatGPT generative AI at 2 levels. One is at the unskilled labor level and at the professional services where we are the back-end officers of the world, right? We do a lot of manual repetitive work.
Absolutely. Very fascinating. So, Mohammed, if we come down to you specifically, what is your expertise in making all these things happen? And what would be the kind of outcomes a customer could expect by engaging with you as an expert in this field, for example?
Right. So I've, over the last 20 years, let me just break up my career to give an idea of what I can offer. I've worked in very technical fields. I've worked on operating systems. I've worked on automation systems. Then I've moved on to work on business operations, where I've not dealt with technology at all, but just basic human resources, sales, marketing, operations. And then in the last 10 years, I've had a hardware startup, built products from the scratch, right? And consulted, worked with a conversational AI company, understood the challenges there. So what I've realized in a lot of this is to productize an idea and concept, a lot of effort is done. So if you use, this is very critical, if you use off-the-shelf products like, let's say, Microsoft's AI engine or Salesforce CRM and all that, at the end of the year, the bills are going to hurt you, right? It's going to cost you. The cost solutions are very, very high. What I have developed with many of my colleagues is open source technology. How do you use open source hardware? How to make them reliable, and then parts of proprietary cloud technology, and just use them enough where they are good at, but build your solutions on open source reliable systems where the redundancy is very high. And people will say, hey, it's open source, what's the support level? Today, 99% of banking software backend works on Linux, which is built on open source. So open source is fundamentally very, very reliable. The key USP I provide is the pick and choose of what you should use and how do you integrate, so that the product development cost cycle, this is critical, product development cost cycle is reduced, and most important for the business, the maintenance cost cycle. What's the maintenance? Like if you want to make a change, right? I should not charge you $10,000 to upgrade, right? It should be something feasible for you. It should be part of your business, right? It should not affect your bottom line. So the maintenance cost cycle, the upgradability cost cycle should be minimal, right? The hardware replacement cycle, that should be minimal. That's where I come in. So my thing is, how do we achieve world-class solutions at an Indian cost price, or at a cost price which is very feasible for us?
Got it.
So that's where.
Got it. I think these are all very interesting, times for all of us, right? I mean, I know that in the sales profession also, more and more, people are using AI, artificial intelligence tools like ChatGPT and many others to try to transform. People are dabbling with these things today, and I'm sure going forward, the world's going to change, and more and more of this will come into our lives. I think this was a very insightful discussion, Mohammed. Thank you so much for your inputs, and it was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you, Siddharth. Thank you for the time, and thank you for your questions. And I hope to have more future discussions with you.
Thank you.